There we go. Okay, shows up on Facebook. Hey guys, how's it going? What's up? It's getting close. It's getting close to the holiday.
We're on episode 96 now, guys. So
96.
100. So
that 96 is just an upside down 69, man. Oh, sorry. Wrong show.
So we got a special guest tonight, guys. We got Mr. Yves Fractal, owner of Fractal Engineering.
Right.
Welcome, Yves. How you doing, man?
That way.
Hey guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm great.
So I've been following a few of the things that you've been working on as we chatted about. My phone is freaking out on me right now. Everything's like notification, you're live, notification. I'm like, but yeah, so I've been following your work a little bit, and one thing you should know is our viewer base tends to have a lot of tiny whoop pilots in it. And so when I posted that you were coming on the show, I just saw like Philip Love, Daniel Sagano, Jeff West. Everybody was just like, yeah. So they're definitely excited, and you've been working on a few things. You showed me the carbon cuts that you just got, which we'll talk about, but the ones on your store right now, and the one that everybody's really talking about, is the Fractal 65. Am I correct?
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's got. I'm correct in saying it's got the run cam, the flat panel run cam in it as well. What's the overall weight?
All right. So the standard configuration that I'm building for BNF is 19.5 dry. So without the battery.
The lowest I've managed to get my 65, the Renegade 65, is 23.8 grams.
But the design, the idea was to gain all that weight by removing the canopy.
Yeah.
And this already shaves a lot of weight. And when you look at the Mob Light 6, it's still a bit lighter than that. I believe it's 18 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously with the carbon fiber bottom plate, you get a lot more rigidity, and it behaves a bit, quite a lot more sharp than your average nylon frame.
Now, what else is different about that than, say, the Acro B or any other standard whoop, I guess?
Yeah.
I know its flight characteristics are a lot different in terms of the fact that it's generally laid out as a pusher, correct?
You have the option to assemble it as a pusher, but most pilots don't. They just assemble it like the standard whoop.
Okay.
Yeah, the main difference really is I would say that you have this main carbon fiber bottom plate that connects the motors to the flight controller. So you got a really solid foundation chassis for holding all the mechanical components.
Yeah.
And as opposed to your standard nylon frames where the ducts are structural, I call them.
Yes.
Where the ducts are actually part of the structure. They hold the motor posts and so on.
Yeah.
Here the ducts are just held on by this carbon fiber plate. And so, one of the main things that I found with my testing is that when you bump into things with the nylon frames, it kind of deforms the whole chassis.
Yes.
So it tends to like bounce back. It does some weird things every time you bounce on something with these nylon frames, and this tend to happen quite a bit less with these because you can hit something that's gonna deform the bumper, the duct, but the main structure is still gonna stay relatively stable.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things that I really liked about I think it was the newbie drone Cockroach 75, the new one with the carbon spar in it.
Yeah.
I really liked the concept that they had going where they had like the full-on whoop frame that you could just use as the nylon frame, or you could add the carbon spar. My downside with it was I crashed it a few times and would have to buy a whole new frame because they still used the whole frame. And if you broke a duct or if you broke one of the little spars, then it would throw the whole thing off.
Yep.
And I like your way of doing it a lot more where the ducts are specifically independent. I had one a while ago that had something similar where it was the carbon cage and then the whoop ducts were mounted to that, but they were not bolted to the motor. It was the duct itself housed the motor as well. So that was also a downside because you land wrong and it just rips that whole duct and motor off. And so
yeah, I think I remember who made this. Was it Recon Heli?
Yeah, I think it was the
Raycon
Nameless
Heli,
RC and Raycon Heli that pulled that off.
And they had this CNC or CNC aluminum ducts.
Yeah,
That was
I have
super neat.
Right here, this one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the 75 version, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the 75. It's the aluminum Raycon.
Yep.
So, but as I said, like what's happened with this one, and Matt can attest because I built this one up probably 4 or 5 times with different parts.
He sent me one of those too.
Yeah, I sent him the 65 as well.
In my record shop.
I've ripped off and dented a lot of these ducts, but I've also done a lot of this where the frame just snaps because they're so flimsy. And like this is carbon fiber, guys, and it's so thin that I can like literally bend it, and then it's there, like it's still fine.
Yeah. Well, what thickness is that? Is this like
I'd say no more than 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
Like there's no way it's more than 1 millimeter. So I like the concept of that with that Raycon did, and the aluminum ducts, like yeah, I like them. They're durable, but you hit something hard enough and that bends in and your whole loop is ruined at that point.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not a fan of on this design is the bikini strap over the camera.
But that's great.
But other than that, I mean, I love the way you put you've got separate whoop ducts, so they're separated from the flight controller, from everything else, right? You've got carbon fiber on the bottom of the frame. You don't have any bottom views. Oh, there's one. Okay. Yeah, you've got the carbon fiber on the bottom of the frame. The built-in battery straps is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
It looks like you've got some angle adjustment built in here with the 3D print. Is that what that is?
The bikini strap, as you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So this idea initially it came from this. So someone had posted this cam mount on the Tiny website. It was such a long time ago. It was using a zip tie that you split in half near the little nut.
Was that Dalton? Was Dalton the one that posted that?
Maybe. I know Dalton had a similar one on the Little Deuce.
But he was using a zip tie at one point. I remember that.
Yeah, and the battery strap looks like a 3D printed adjustable zip, like one of those adjustable ties, not necessarily a zip tie, but you pull it through and it kind of locks.
Yep. Exactly.
Easy to pull one way, hard to pull the other.
Yeah. It's all so all the yeah, that's kind of cute. A little industrial design tip is that it comes like this. So you get
hold on.
all the 3 printed parts right there in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this one. Here's another tip. If you're doing 3D printing, especially TPU, uh, this is as they come out of the printer. Yeah, there's always some little hair and so on.
Yeah.
So I just when they are out of the printer, I lay them down on a silicone mat and I blast them with a heat gun to remove the hair, and it makes them look nice and yeah, nice and smooth. And so yeah, this is how you get it. So you just trim them at the little arrows, which are also used to pull the parts through the carbon fiber with pliers. So you cut
Yeah.
here, yes, and there, and then you have all 3 printed components in one single part.
And that's super handy, especially if somebody doesn't have a 3D printer and they get one or 2 of those and with their kit. That would make it a whole lot easier than having to print those tiny little parts and adapters and all that stuff.
Yeah, they can be a bit delicate to print indeed. And yeah, that's something I totally forgot about. We just mentioned it not so long ago with my team pilots, Heads and Glenn, is that actually I designed the frame to be compatible with zip ties as well. So even if you don't have a 3D printer, you can actually use this hack where you trim the zip tie in half and make a cam mount or battery mount.
Dubs squared FPV says I've been snipping the ducts on all my broken Whoop frames for months and keeping them in anticipation of these frames.
Right on.
Nice. That's wicked. Athix says Fractal Engineering. I was showing Evan of 533 and Joshua Bardwell your frame at the Whoop race yesterday. They thought it was pretty cool. So Athix must be in Knoxville then at the race that just happened with Jesse. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, Athix. That's wicked.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, we did. I don't know if you guys saw, but yesterday there was a huge race out in Knoxville. Jesse was out there. Bardwell was out there. I guess Evan was out there too. I didn't happen to see him on any of the things, but yeah, that's wicked. There were a lot of great pilots out there. Now, what is you mentioned the wingman? I don't want to do any spoilers and don't know if you want to talk about it, but which frame is that?
Yeah, this is the next release. Yeah, so unfortunately I already ripped this one out, but yeah, basically this is gonna be a 1S 18650, like
Nice.
the one based on Dave C, except that yeah, this one has foldable arms so that you can can literally put it out of your pocket or fold it, toss it in your bag. It takes very little space, and yeah, it has this locking mechanism.
Amazing.
Yeah, to keep it in place, and also the arms are soft mounted.
Oh wow!
Now, if you can see the little TPU shims.
Oh yeah.
So they do 2 functions. I mean the soft mounting is kind of a side effect of it, but mainly it provides some friction for the arm to hold together even further.
I swear, every time we mention Dalton's name, he freaking pops into the stream.
Right? Dalton Schultz, everybody, the acro weeboo himself. But yeah, so
Anything good about Newbie Drone Service, you can blame on him. Anything bad, blame on the other guys.
Right. So we were talking about the Dave C. I built a Dave C, but I 3D printed it. I did not get the carbon version. And so I was mentioning I had a lot of oscillations going on and a lot of different vibrations that I couldn't seem to source out. I tried tuning it out as I usually would. I even tried raising and lowering the D pretty much to as high as I was or low as I was comfortable as going. But I was still getting that sort of like you're flying straight and then you get that like drop wobble real quick. And I was getting that periodically and I just couldn't get rid of it for some reason. And so I'd get 9 to 11 minute flights, like no problem. But I wasn't brave enough to do anything like really good or spectacular with it, mainly because every time it did that drop wobble, it seemed like it was like a desync or something going on, but it wasn't.
So one thing I'm going to suggest is make it an option for a 21700, because the 21700s perform way better than the 18650s.
Yeah.
You can get them with a higher amp rating and a higher milliamp hour rating.
Yes.
And they're just slightly bigger. They don't quite fit into the 18650 slot. So 18650 is 18 millimeters diameter versus 21700 21 millimeters diameter and 5 millimeters longer.
Now,
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know much about. Have you seen gankmultirotors.com yet, or Gank's frames? Because he's a very good frame designer, and he's got quite a few frames out right now, and a few are in the micro realm, and we've been sort of discussing and working on a Whoop frame as well. So this is definitely I figured you and Matt would have a good time chatting about the design elements of all this stuff.
Okay, sure.
Awkward,
right?
But yeah, well, I do have a few designs. I mean, I don't know. I like them. I try to make them durable. I try to make them look decent. I don't know. Other people seem to like them too. I try to do some weird stuff every now and again too, like
the Hexa.
Yeah. So I've got the Skya. Right. That's my.
All right.
A 3-inch hexacopter.
That's funky.
It's a 3-inch hexacopter meant to record some cinematic footage, so there's no props in view at all. I've got this is the Mutiny V2 prototype that we're testing now, and I'm making edits on now. So the final version should be coming shortly after the movie.
Matt, I have my Skya Whoop here. If you want to put my screen big.
Oh yep, I've got mine too. But okay. So Dan put some pre-ordered ducks on his. He had to stagger them a little bit to make sure they fit well. But
yeah, that's pretty funny. Is that 2.5 inch props?
3 inch.
All right.
And then we've done also another 3-inch, which was an X8 version.
Yeah, we did let's see, this one here, the Nemesis Micro. So he made it into an octocopter.
It has 2 bottom plates, right?
Yeah. Oh. So I stacked 2 bottom plates, and we had a 3D printed spacer to go in between them.
And I used 5 millimeter
standoffs,
aluminum standoffs, just little tiny 5 millimeter ones, and just ran a screw right through to lock them in place. So, but yeah, the Hexa, we really like how it flies, man. Like this one, I've sold my main Cinewoop because I like this one, and I just use this one anyways. So
Okay.
it's I enjoy it, but yeah, we do some random shit when it comes to.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got, like I said, I've got the Hex. I've got a couple 5-inch. Some of them will go up to 7-inch. This one here was the first design that I ever did.
Here, pull your screen up big again, Matt. There you go.
I forgot that you can just click on the windows at the right and drag to get them to the big screen.
I have my Nemesis. You want me to grab my Nemesis?
Yeah, I've got mine. Mine's here too.
Cool.
But so this is the Nemesis 6-inch. I originally designed this back in 2016 or 2017. So they had a recessed GoPro, so it kind of locks the GoPro in, protects it all around. It's 18 mil distance in the back, 25 mil in the front, so just barely enough room in the center. That's kind of why I designed this spacer, because it's just about the right height for the flight controller, and then it covers up the riv nuts. So even if your ESC or flight controller does flex or touch it a little bit, it's not going to short out against it.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I think I saw this one skimming through other shows. I think yes, I saw that passage where you're mentioning the copies of it.
Oh yeah,
the sleazy copies.
It was terrible.
The Banggood version. Yeah.
Yeah, you are UAV, and they're awesome copies. Yeah, the Skya is pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference when flying such a hex compared to a 3 or 5-inch? Do you notice anything difference? Maybe I'm thinking more yaw authority.
Yes.
Yeah, yaw and roll.
Lots of roll, lots of roll authority. Like I lowered my roll rate a lot with it because it just felt too quick. So I lowered it down by about 50 points, and then every now and again on yaw turning, if you turn too tightly, it feels like it drifts a bit, but usually it doesn't seem to have much issue. The only issue I've really had with it was for a while it felt like the motor would miss a couple of pulses, like a desync sort of thing. And it was only on when I was yawing with it. And I have a feeling it was the middle motors trying to figure out what the hell to do when the back two and the front two motors were doing their yaw thing.
Okay.
So this is a little 3-inch racer I designed.
Yeah, I like this a lot. That's really cute.
It's got swappable boomerang arms because I know racers tend to break things more.
Mm.
And then I created a little 3D printed canopy for it.
All right, it's the same chassis, the same frame, just a different canopy.
Yeah. So I just removed the top plate and the front standoffs.
Nice.
And then we have little hex nuts there.
Hmm.
This is the version 1. I've actually modified it a little bit. I need to get pictures of the new one up.
Yeah, I love the 3-inch class. 3-inch 3S. I have a 3-inch tadpole behind me. Yeah, it's insane the thrust to weight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I fly this faster than I fly my 5-inch.
Yeah.
And then I've also I also made a 4-inch version of that one where I added a little strut here in the front because the arms are a little bit longer and they didn't want to thicken them up too much.
I used to fly a lot of 5-inch, and then I got sucked into the 3-inch world and was like, these things are ridiculous. Like there's a couple that I've built that were like I was running 4S, and 4S on a 3-inch that has high-pitched props, and you're gone the second you hit the throttle. Like,
yeah. Instant
you're just like,
throttle
how does
response.
this thing have so much power? And the only problem with the 3-inch is I've noticed I have trouble getting used to the fact that I don't have the momentum behind me that I used to with the 5-inch, just because it's heavier. And like, I get that. I just need to coach myself into transferring that, because I fly a lot of the heavier 6-inch rigs now, but then I have my 3-inch setups. And so I'm always swapping between them. And so I'll get used to flying the Nemesis with that crazy momentum. So I'll get used to turning and doing dives with that. And then I'll pull out the 3-inch and be like, oh, I didn't need to throttle half as much. All right, cool. Like, so I love 3-inch, and I bomb them around my yard, but there's still something to be said for just having that nice beefy 5-inch or 6-inch just to toss around and bang around, you know?
Yep. I have the Tadpole. It's really lightweight 3-inch 3S, but I also have a Gecko, both from Armatan. Basically, all my quads are either Armatan or mine. Yeah. And
Nice.
the Gecko, it's also a 3-inch, but it runs on 4S. It's much heavier, and it's a very different flight characteristic. It's basically an angry brick, and you just toss it around. It's really fun.
I had a nice little mix. I had the little Nemesis Micro that he's got on the screen right there, and I had that set up so that all up weight with battery was 190 grams, so it was super light. And then I had another one that was pretty much the same setup, but with much bigger, like 1408 motors, and is like twice as thick of a frame, you know? And it was the Dabber X, and the flight characteristics between both of them were just stupidly different. It was like one's this agile little fox trying to catch a bunny, and the other one's just a hippo trying to trudge through the yard, you know?
Excuse me.
Yeah. So.
Excuse me.
But let's talk, because we've had a few people make comments about the wing.
Now you're drinking the milk.
Yeah,
yes,
my dog. Let me go see if my dog needs to go out to the bathroom. She's bugging me. But yeah, Yves. This is my most popular frame. It's a Nemesis 3-inch. I think it's so much.
Put us on 3 screen instead of yours just up.
Yep. There we go.
All right, there we go. So the Wingman, that's not available on your store yet, is it?
Yeah, I just received the cut, so I need to QC them and
awesome.
Make all the material as well for the listing, the marketing material.
Where will shipping be available? Like, will there be any restrictions on what countries can buy?
Yeah, well, here from Taiwan, it changes on a weekly, almost daily basis. So
yeah,
I try to stay on top of that. Yeah, just UK is the most critical one. Yeah, it's always been difficult to ship to UK since the outbreak.
Yeah. US is where I think the US is where most of our viewers are from. We have a few from Canada, a bunch from Australia, and a couple from the UK.
Yeah.
So
US has always been very reliable, the shipping from here.
Nice. So I'd say, when would be the estimate as to when they'll be on your store? Because there's been a few people asking.
I was hoping for this week still.
Nice. Athix says, I know C Audi FPV was going to try the Fractal 65. Ciotti was on our show a little while ago, and he just did a show with one of our team members. We have a bunch of sponsored pilots as well under our optimized drone team, and Eric Marvel also does an interview show called eDrone, and he just interviewed Aaron, and yeah, Aaron's a good friend of our show, so if he's got the Fractal, he'll at least give it a good review, or at least test it to its fullest.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a few out there.
Yeah. So guys, definitely check out his site on and keep us posted on when that's coming out, because these guys, I guarantee you, at least 3 or 4 of them will buy. Matt just posted the link to your store there. Now, you also do engineering for other custom parts and machinery, correct?
Within FPV, or
like 3D printed machine parts?
Well, if not, you're lying, because your homepage says you do. Oh wait, the Fractal Engineering. I can't get back to it now.
Oh, just the Fractal Engineering site, not the store.
Yeah. If you click to R&D service on the main menu, you'll get there. Yeah, it's yeah. Before making the store, basically before the whole Rona thing. Yeah, I used to run more of an agency service based business where I was helping inventors turn their ideas into kick-ass product I can sell like hotcakes. And at the beginning of the Rona, everyone got a bit more cautious. My client base started reducing a bit, and I thought that this was a perfect opportunity to start making my own products. And so that's when I looked up on through all my hobbies and trying to find which idea was the best one to start with. I wanted something that was with a low upfront investment to develop, and various other factors as well. Like it needed to be relatively simple. That doesn't have too many moving parts. That's useful, and that is unique. Basically, I try to, if I'm going to make new products for the hobby, I might just as well do something unique that nobody has done it before. I'm totally not following this. If I'm doing something, it has to be its own thing, leaving its own space.
That's kind of where Matt and I sit in our little world here too, because he designs a lot of frames, and I try and make things that shouldn't fly. So he does his own designs, and he tries to veer away from what the newest type is. Like if the newest type is the freestyle frame with that stretched look to it, or the dead cat or whatever, he's just like, it's just type, but most of Matt's frame designs are pretty unique in their own right, and as you saw with the hexacopter and all that. Whereas I like to take them and go, well, I'm gonna strap another frame on here and throw 4 more motors on,
Yeah, Dan says to me, I sent him a couple of the Nemesis Micros, and he had some of the 2.5 inch, and he had the 3 inch, and he's like, hey, what do you think about me slapping another bottom plate on this and putting 8 motors on it? I'm like, okay, let's cool. I could design you a spacer for the bottom,
Well, my first suggestion, he did not appreciate as much, because I had just crashed one of the Nemesis and broken one of the prototype arms. and it was one of the rear arms. So I broke the other arm back and hooked a tiny little servo up and mounted the other arm up at the back as a tricopter. And I was like, what do you think of me making a 3-inch tricopter out of this? And he was like, no.
I was like,
do
oh,
not do that. So then we decided
cool,
on the X8.
It would be pretty cool, I admit, but yeah, I like the X8 idea better.
And it flies like a dream, man. I love it. We have Steve Wattenberg says, I'm happy with the 1S charge board from Yves. Awesome, Steve. That's wicked.
You got to hear.
Yeah. Now, that board has been getting a lot of recognition in Newbie Drone, Tiny Whoop, Weebleed, FPV, all those Whoop crews. Tell me about that. What, like, I use the basic, whatever it is, the 6-port basic, just plug in the XT60.
This guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Is it more of a balanced rate of charge?
Yeah, it's basically it turns as many 1S as you want into basically a pack. So if you have four cells, you put them in this board, plug in your charger, and it behaves like if it was a 4S battery. So you get the balance port, you get the individual cell charge and control for each of the battery.
Awesome.
And that gives you much more control and flexibility with your charging.
So this one, does this do HV charging as well? Yes, I assume.
Yeah, of course. It's really not that complicated. It's just
it just looks like it just looks like a basic balance system.
Right. Yeah, so you use the jumpers to tell it how many batteries you have plugged in.
Yeah.
Yeah. The jumper closes the loop around wherever you put your last battery.
So
otherwise, if you didn't have that, you will need to always have 6
batteries
cells at all times, or otherwise it's gonna your charger will tell you like connection break or something like that.
Yeah, and I've found with the Whoop battery chargers, especially those ones that you showed there, as well as like the cheaper ones, like the USB plug-in ones and stuff. All of them, even if they claim to do HV, one battery will be at 4.25, the other one will be at 4.27, the other one will be at 4.24. You know, like there's no I don't think I've ever actually seen one get all the way up to 4.35. Because they always cut off at some point early. But I've heard a lot of the guys that use this one don't seem to face that problem, and it's usually quite close to 4.35.
Yeah, my problem I had with this one is that they tend to overcharge as well. That's a bit more of a problem, yeah.
I had one go up to 441, and I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So they don't seem to regulate it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe the circuit is probably simpler, and it probably just depends on some preset resistor that can also have their own variability. So with this board, basically the accuracy to which you can charge your batteries depends on your charger.
Yeah.
Which is usually much better built than this cheap Chinese charger. And you can also storage them as well. That's something I was really missing with these guys.
Yeah.
So you can take really good care of your batteries. You can discharge and storage them as well. So ever since I've been using this board, of course my battery can last much longer. I also improve the quality of the batteries I get. Been getting these tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Online, yeah, these are insane. All the other batteries I tried before that, they would either show like 100 milliohm of internal resistance, or not even show at all, like GNB, Beta FPV,
Oh.
even TBS batteries. Like it seemed like they all have like the same chemistry in somewhere, or come out of the same factory. This is the first one that I tested, and right off the box, he was like 40 milliohm.
So I've got one of the tattoos, and so far it's held up great. I actually am repairing one of my whoops right now, so I haven't been able to do this since, but I got to test Jeff Grabowski's battery, the We Bleed FPV battery. I got to test that one directly head to head with my brand new GNB high C rated 380 milliamp, whatever, those ones, as well as my old like Lipo King and Tiny Whoop batteries and all those. And I went pack for pack with each one on the same whoop.
Mm-hmm.
The We Bleed and the tattoo, I was getting around 4 minutes of flight time. Like pretty ridiculous for a little 65 millimeter one.
I know.
And then the GNB and all the others were usually around 2 minutes, 2 minute 30 seconds or something. But those new GNBs, man, I am so disappointed because I really used to love GNB batteries.
Yep.
And
I know.
the new ones, I think they might have lasted 4 cycles before their internal resistance made them unusable.
Yep. They used to be great.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember they used to be great. They used to be the reference, but this was like everything moves so fast. Yeah, in this hobby, I think that they either fell out of grace or just better alternative.
And like
I think somebody started buying the better cells from the same company that they were getting theirs from, so they got bumped down the list as far as priority.
Probably.
Because everybody knows these cells. There's only like 3 battery manufacturers that provide most of our cells, right? So, and if they have higher grade cells and lower grade cells, and people have to jockey for the position to buy those, right? So, and a lot of companies, I feel like, I don't know for sure, but I feel like that a lot of the companies pay that a little bit extra when they've got a new line of battery coming out, like we'll say CNHL Black.
Yeah.
Because I noticed, like when CNHL Black came out, my CNHL Oranges, the new ones that I bought, a couple months after that, weren't as good as they were before. And like the Ovonics, I think it seems like the last pack I bought of Ovonics may have been a little less quality now because they have the red series 120Cs out now. So I feel like the older cell lines get the weaker cells. So if you stay on top with purchasing the newest that company has, you'll probably be okay. But I think even if you're to buy the old standards that the old standards that we used to love, like I had a whole 6-pack of the GNB 600 milliamp hours that took a poop on me, and I was actually storage charging them and treating them well. So, but the new yellow line 600s were great so far. So
on that note, Matt's had a lot of good luck with some of the GNB ones that he's had recently, the yellow line ones. I had the opposite.
Well, the yellow lines and the purple ones, the newer purple ones that I have, I've been really religious about making sure to discharge them and not over discharge them while I'm flying.
Yeah, like the purple ones, the 1S, I've had a lot of issues with.
I've been running the 3. So.
The thing that really bugs me is I bought 2 of the 1650 milliamp 6S batteries from GNB. They're brand new ones, high C rated, when I built the Kraken, my big 10-inch. And I bought also some 1300 milliamp, just CNHL Black, like just the standard cheapo off Amazon, The GNB, the the second flight on one of the batteries, it lost a cell completely, wouldn't connect to the charger, nothing. The next one lasted, I think, 6 cycles before like 3 of the cells internal resistance just skyrocketed. And I was like, okay. And I was noticing that in charging, it wasn't that big of an issue. But when I'd bring it down, I'd plug it into the checker. And a couple of cells would be at like 3.98. And the other ones would be at 3.12. And I'm like, oh, like
I had one of my I bought some of those Apex 520 mile 3S cells, and I had one that did that to me. I noticed this weekend when I was this week when I was charging.
Yeah. And I just I lost faith in GNB just because I had so many issues with their 3S batteries and then the 6S and then the 1S that I just got to the point where I'm not going to deal with them. But we did have a question. Hold on. Where did it go? Dub Squared FPV says, are the 1S R-line batteries worth the extra 0.5 grams in weight?
Wow, that was where did I miss that one?
I didn't know there were even there was a way different. But even if it varies, yeah, I think that I have a set of the they have been lasting so long with proper care. They just last so long and they keep giving. And they also have much less sag, I found as well.
Yes.
Thanks to the lower internal resistance. So yeah, but by all means, I think yeah, either this tattoo or whoever gets them gets the sales from them as well. Yeah, it's probably a good investment.
Dub Squared says they are advertised at 9 grams. I think the Weebleed ones are what, 8.1 grams or 8.4 grams or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, and this one, when I noticed, they have like this shrink wrap around it. See, they have like this little.
Oh yeah, the extra layer.
You get the sail. You have this cardboard label, and then you have this thin shrink wrap. So I guess there is some of it, some of that too, compared to the other ones that are just like the sail directly plus the.
Now the battery itself seems so much better that I'm assuming the 0.5 grams of weight is just unnoticeable at that point.
Oh yeah.
To me, to be honest, I mean, if you're losing a full gram or a gram and a half, like maybe like half a gram.
You'd probably notice it on a brushed whoop, but you probably won't notice it on a brushless.
Actually.
So this is the charger that I've been using.
What's up, Carolina Air Shots? How you doing, buddy?
For my whoop stuff here. And the main reason I do it is because you can select between the charge rate, and also you can charge at 0.2 amps or you can charge at 0.6 amps.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
Right, and then I don't have much problem with this. It actually because it's not a balancer. It actually charges each one.
I don't have problems with it either. The only issue that I have with it is the fact that it's never a consistent endpoint for the charge. It's like if all of the batteries ended at 4.24 or whatever, then that would be great. But it's always a inconsistent endpoint. Like I'll have one battery on that rack charged to 4.21 and the other one charged to 4.28 and then the other one and so
mine haven't been that far off. I mean, it's usually like, because I charge when I'm racing, I charge to 4.3 or 4.35. So I'll get like 4.35, 4.33, maybe a 4.32, but nothing much further than that. Mine haven't been that far off.
Now, Yves, on your 65 millimeter, what sort of flight times are you looking at? Because I know with the the lowered weight and the tune that you've got going on should be pretty efficient.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I fly really hard enough to give a good number. I mean, with brand new battery and 19,000 kV motors, I could make 5 minutes of like slow cruising around.
Nice.
But Glenn Sewing, my Bella Chow,
Yeah.
he's my racing team pilot, and yeah, he did he can finish his races. Yeah, he noticed.
So 2.5, 3 minute race, you can
Yeah, that's
easily
about
finish.
that.
Yeah.
Now
I mean,
that qualifies for the Whoop Racing Series, right? Because it's 65 mil.
Yeah.
And it's completely ducted, right?
Yep.
Okay, I might have to pick one up or two because no, I like the rigid frame. I mean,
Yeah.
especially after storing it for a few, if you have any kind of pressure sideways on the plastic ones, they tend to hold better, especially in Texas, where in your car the temperature can rise to above 120
wow.
pretty freaking easy. So if you got any
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of pressure on that thing sideways, it just completely knocks your whoop out. I actually had to trim when I was racing at IO. I had to trim my whoop a little bit because I couldn't get it to bend and stay back, and I didn't want to try to hit it with a heat gun like right before a race.
Yeah.
But yeah, the carbon fiber thing, I like that a lot. I actually have one of my whoops. I have carbon my brushed whoops. I have carbon fiber braces for to help that out.
Yeah.
But I don't fly a whole lot of brushed anymore
Yeah.
since Dan built me the brushless one.
It's super durable as well. I made it to week 17 of IGAO.
Nice.
It was pretty funny. I was seeing every week people pilots giving up because breaking too many whoops, getting out of parts.
Yeah.
And yeah, week 17, I still hadn't changed my props. Yeah.
Yeah, I broke quite a few whoops during that. We sponsored iGal, and our week was, what week was it? Week 10 was our week.
I think we had 2 weeks, didn't we?
Well, we had week
I
10.
think Optimized Drone had a week, and I had and Gank Multirotors.
Yeah, and then he did a week of giving away your frames and doing your stuff. So but I think Optimized Drone was week 10, and I whooped out on week 11.
Mm.
So I whooped out, and they were worried because they saw how many I had and that I hadn't submitted a video, and they were like, "Are you really gonna whoop out on your own damn week?"
Yeah. Well,
I was like, no.
Probably.
I did. I did. I made it on 17, and I whooped out on my yeah.
That's awesome.
I couldn't do half of those tricks, so I was,
Yeah,
he wanted to enter, and then after like week 2, I was like, "You gonna enter?" He's like, "Nah."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was really cool experience. I mean, most of the time there would be a week I'll be like, oh, there's no way I can do that. I will go out anyway. I will try, and more often than not, I will just pull it off, put it off,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, wow. So I guess I can do Matty flip now.
Yeah.
And but yeah, most of the time, especially
there was a couple hard combos in there though where both tricks were hard, and doing them through gates and stuff. I was just like, come on.
Oh man, like the indoors one. Yeah, this was really soul crushing.
The one where you got to go through the top gate, Maddie back down through a bottom gate, and I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna be able to complete that.
Yeah. The ladders got me every time. It was like whenever it was the 3-layer ladder where you had to go like through all of them, and oh my god, every time I would have like a 45-second run, and then I watch the live stream, and everybody's got like 15, 17-second runs, and I'm like, okay, well, I did 48 seconds, so
so
I learned a ton.
So Athix is asking, how does the carbon help with the PID loop?
For that small, it wouldn't do much, probably.
Well, I mean, it gives it a little more rigidity, and you're not going to get probably as much vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more in the filtering. I think that there is more that happens in the filtering than the pid loop. But I have a tune that's available on on the shop. It's based on Mockingbird, Project
Yeah.
Mockingbird with
Patrick.
RPM filtering and everything. It's super tight. So yeah, you can use that as your baseline.
Patrick did a lot of work with that Project Mockingbird setup for
Yeah,
everything.
it's
And dude, I wouldn't have done anything in tuning if it weren't for Patrick as well as Ryan Harrell, because
mm,
both of those guys, when I was starting to tune like the Renegade tune as well as do like Matt's 3-inch rigs and tune those for how I needed them. I was talking a lot to Patrick and a lot to Ryan, and Patrick literally would give me pretty much the Project Mockingbird tune and then be like, but change this and change this. And I'm like, okay. And I'd give it a try. And he was really intrigued because I was building my whoop out of in a much thicker one of those. Where is it? Do I have one? One of those really thick meteor frames, or like not meteor.
okay.
Is it meteor? I don't know.
It's a
One of the beta frames or
yeah.
whatever. But it's a lot thicker and feels a lot heavier. But I was also using old school like Inductrix FPV motors, the like silver 15,000 kV ones or whatever they were. Not brushed, the brushless little thrust UAV 0702s or whatever they were. Or 0703. But the combo that I was using with the flight controller that I was using, he was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to help you tune this. And I was like, okay. He gave me a lot of good insight on tuning whoops, especially because there's a lot of things that are far different than you would think about with a 5-inch that you need to be aware of. And it took me forever to get rid of that drop, the side drop or the corner drop when doing like a dive or pulling out of a dive or a power loop, and you get that wobble coming down the prop wash. It took a while to start learning how to tune all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Because with whoops, it's a lot more intensive to try and figure out what's making the noise, I've found.
Yeah, especially with bendy frames that like everything that can happen all around that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know where to start. You're like, was this because I was trying to pull a dive that this thing probably can't support, or is this just because this is twitching, you know? So, yeah, it's a learning curve for whoops, and that's something that I very much respect with that with your frame, because I've heard a lot of great things in terms of how it flies from the guys that I've talked to about it, as well as the tuning efforts that you've put into it to make it what it is. So well done on that. What companies are selling the Fractal 65? Is Newbie Drone?
Yeah, so far I didn't. I mean, I haven't worked out any retail deal with the 65. This is I'm still on my
right off your store,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will try. The thing is, Newbie Drone has their own frames.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a bit.
It would be more. I think the bigger companies tend to look more for the ready-to-fly builds rather than just the frame kits, because a lot of these companies do have their own frames, their own
I can show you this. That's something that I was working on.
Nice.
with Nubi drone. That's basically a F65 with only Nubi drone components. So it has the BI camera, it has the gold motors, as the props, and the BLV3. That's something that I
Yeah.
was working on to eventually work with have Nubi drone involved into that. But yeah, I just assemble it. Now I need to test it out. I think it shows up quite a bit heavier than the. Yeah, it's just below 23 grams.
Is
So
that because of the camera or because of the board?
I, everything is a bit heavier on this one. The motors, the camera,
Okay.
because yeah, you looking at yeah for the.
Is that why you're using bi-blades to try to get them to spin up faster, spin the motors up faster with a little extra weight, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just changed them. I have the three blades here as
Uh-huh.
well. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I saw the weight, I just moved directly to these guys, see if we can shave a bit of it. Because yeah, basically with this, you're looking at all the pretty much lightest components. Yeah, these diamond F4.
Yeah.
It's not even a full a full size, so you gain a lot of weight on that. The motors, the props, the camera, you're gaining a lot of weight with this. This
Yeah.
Nano 3, it's probably the lightest nano cam around. And yeah, you can get the F65 even lighter
And
heads
now you're
from
using
Infinity Loop. He made yeah he used the 0703 models, the latest one from Nubi Drone.
Yep.
Like shaving the ducts, using yeah plastic screws on the bottom. He got it down to 16 gram,
Oh Jesus.
and that's insane.
Those infinity loops guys are crazy, man.
Aren't they?
They're like some of the shit that I've seen them pull with a like you're just like, okay, so wait, you're doing that with a 1S65? Are you joking me right now? Like I've seen them pull like dives through trees and somehow pull out of it flawlessly. And you're like, how?
Mm.
How did you do that with a whoop? Like but they build some crazy stuff, and they're very good at showing you what the whoops can do, as
True.
opposed to just flying a whoop and showing you the same footage that everybody else is showing.
Mm.
Like they'll be like, oh, you want to fly a whoop? This is how you fly a whoop. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
fill up,
Hex
fill
is
up
an
love.
insane
Yeah,
pilot. Yeah.
they're
I
great
don't,
guys.
I don't know if you've seen the latest video on the 0803 T-Motor. It just posted, I think, last week. Oh
Okay.
man, he absolutely tears the house. It's insane. At some point, he does this power loop, and he goes in between the ceiling and the ceiling fan. That's
Oh god.
like while in power loop. You know, you gotta imagine that. That's just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
Oh god. I like when I first started flying them, I was like, these are great for just tooling around. And then
Yeah.
I started watching those guys and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I liked their weeks in iGao as well. They
Mm.
did some really fun challenges for iGao.
Yeah.
Shutterbug is a good builder too, man. Athix just brought that up. Drone Pilot says 18 grams is the lightest whoop he's got, so that's pretty good. Lightest one I've managed to get is, I think, the Renegade whoop that I gave to Michael was 23 all up. And I don't know, how much was yours, Matt, that I gave to you?
Which one?
The Renegade whoop?
I don't know, and it's in my
Was it?
car.
I think yours was lighter. Yours was like 19 point something.
I'm not sure. Like, it's in my car. I'd have to go get it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Yeah, Brandon Beans, welcome. Demons, what's up? Drone Pilot, everybody. Sorry, we haven't been saying hi to everybody like we usually do. We've been too intrigued. Carolina Airshots popped in. Athix is still here. We got Drone Pilot from Australia. We got Demons from Australia.
Vitrafly showed up.
Vitrafly, what's up, Robert? Sorry I haven't seen you in a few weeks, bro. You know why, and we've both been busy. Vitrafly is a local pilot to me that he's like an hour drive away, so we fly like once a week usually.
Danish Stallion still here.
Danish, yeah. Danish is always here.
Yeah, both of those guys, too, by the way, are both optimized drone team pilots. So
yeah, they are. And Demons FPV is the head of Team Hellfire, which Team Optimized Drone just merged with as well, and we've been working with them on a few things. 22 grams is where I am mostly with mine, but the new beta FPV and the onboard ELRS, how I got with the 0602 motors. Oh yeah, okay. So speaking of which, what are your thoughts on ELRS, Yves?
I just started getting into it a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's I feel this because I have the Fractal 75 as well, which is the same concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, Happy Model has this all-in-one F4 with Express LRS. I think where's the antenna? You can see the little SMT antenna here, right here.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's a bit heavier than a Diamond F4, so I thought I might just as well toss it in 75. And yeah, it's awesome because I had a lot of fun with the Diamond F4. The range is pretty weak. Yeah, I noticed it during IGAO, like a lot of fail safe.
Yeah.
It fails really quickly, and yeah, it's really good to remove this bottleneck with your whoop. I think the range was the first one, the control link. Then the next one will be the video, and I think that this board does a pretty good job as well. It has a whip antenna, like a little dipole.
Yeah.
It works a bit better than the simple monopole wire.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really nice to remove this really obvious bottleneck with your range and have a bit more freedom to yeah, explore a bit more with your whip.
So I made the change to Crossfire about a year ago, and I went with a bunch of the nanos with the new super short antenna or the mini mortal or whatever they're calling it or whatever. But yeah, I've been doing most of my whoops like that, but I did just buy an Express LRS module for my jumper E-Light. Now, my worry is I got this for my jumper T-Light, and it's the size, and it can only pretty much mount to the jumper because all my others are full-size controllers. I have Crossfire on one of my other controllers, but all of my rigs are currently bound to the jumper. But I would have to get rid of Crossfire on the jumper to put the Express LRS, and I don't really want to go through the hassle of rebinding everything to the other rig and getting that all set up, and then I just got this jumper set up on Crossfire. So now I've got this module and a bunch of receivers that I'm torn whether I want to just camp on it for a bit and see how it plays out, or whether I want to actually install it and just make a dedicated controller for Express LRS. Because I want to try. Like, that's the thing. I want to try it because I've heard nothing but great things.
Yep. Yeah, I still have Crossfire running on my 3 and 5-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now I have no plans to replace it. It just works. But yeah, it's tempting. It is, but I think the 2.4 gigahertz makes much more sense to use on like smaller size micros, like 3-inch and below.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the big things. Like, the fact that Express LRS had the 2.4 option instead of just being locked to 915 or 868 or whatever, and that 2.4 option opened up the range for things like for you not to have to worry about whether your controller is going to work with that module or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I hated about Crossfire with the QX7 was you're always switching to a completely different RF mode, completely different everything on it, and it's like you got to modify the actual controller to house or to run that power for Crossfire, and it's just stupid. Like, I think that's was it Radio Master that just came out with the new like internal Express LRS?
Oh, this is Zoto, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've only heard little.
Didn't the T Pro have internal?
Yeah.
No.
I thought the T Pro did.
Oh yeah, the T Pro. Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you seen the T Pro? It looks just like a freaking Tango too.
No, it does not have internal. It has a module. The T Pro, I believe, does have a module. The Zorro is the only one that's internal, I believe. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I don't know.
You know, and I was gonna mention that, like my theory on why is 2.4 so much better now than it was 4 years ago. Because I mean, everything's been 2.4 since I started back in freaking 2016.
Yeah.
Almost like everybody's 2.4 gigahertz electronics are dying out. They're replacing them with 5.8 gigahertz. And there's a lot less noise on the 2.4 gigahertz channels now as well. I mean, I'm not saying the protocols aren't helping, but I'm saying there's a lot less noise on the channels as well. So that's helping with the long range. You're not getting as much long range interference, things like
that. I agree with you in terms of the issues that they were facing with 2.4 a few years back. Now, I will say I saw those issues, and I do know that it's somewhat hardware based, mainly because some of the hardware that was casting out 2.4 wouldn't send it as far or with enough power or whatever. But I was one of the few people that used Radio-Link controllers. And Radio-Link, despite them not really being too praised in the FPV world or RC world all that much, I never had issues. And the range I got with my little Radio-Link AT10 and the bigger receiver with my giant drone, man, I literally made it more than a mile before I panicked and brought it back because I was worried. Like, I was like, there's no way this is going further and this is not going to end well if it does.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and so I was able, like 4 years ago, I was able to fly a giant 690 hexacopter over a mile with my shitty little Radio-Link 2.4 gigahertz or megahertz, whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. 2.4 gigahertz radio, and that scared me because I like my Tyrannus QX7 on 2.4 gigahertz. Half the time doesn't even make it down the fucking block. Like, how did my other thing that's also the same and many years older make it a mile. Like,
well, it's got to do with the protocol and then the device's ability to execute the protocols, as well as
exactly.
the power and the receiving range.
But
So,
yeah, that's just
Joe,
what I'm saying though. Like it was an old Radio Link system versus a new QX7, and the QX7 I still use and is great, but I've had fail safes at a range that you should not be having fail safes at. You know?
yeah.
So
in case you guys haven't seen the Jumper T Pro, it looks similar to the Tango 2. Similar antenna. It does have the multi-bind buttons here, so if you're a racer and you want to multi-bind up to 6 quads, you can do that. 5 quads, sorry.
is it? It's internal. That's the T Pro, right?
Yes, this is the T Pro. Now, it does say that it has a nano module for Crossfire and nano ELRS, so it's not internal.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I remember the Zorro was claiming it is internal.
But they did take care of my big complaint, which was the freaking fragile switches that were too close for my fingers to fit in between.
Yes.
And they got USB-C charging now instead of the USB Micro. They added a couple of dial switches on the back here.
Yeah.
As well, so you've got the same switches that we have on the Tango, right? The push buttons and then the 3 positions.
Yeah.
So
Matt, I gotta, in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna have to call it just because I gotta get my daughter to school in the morning.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah.
Just to update, it's got a DSMX or DSM2X, FR Sky, SFHSS, which I'm not sure which one that is. Fly Sky AFH, DS2A, Hubson, and more. They say.
So
It
it's got the JP module then, or the JP chip.
They call it a nano compatible module base. So the ELRS Nano and the TBS Crossfire Nano will fit that bay.
Okay.
So I didn't really see the bay in the picture.
No, because it's just like the Jumper T Lite. Those 3 screw holes there is where it screws in.
Okay.
It's the exact same as the T Lite. Because that's how I have my Crossfire mounted on the T Lite.
And it runs off of 2 18650s.
T Lite only uses 1, so
And then there's the Zorro. By the way, I'm looking at Defiance RC, guys.
Yeah, they're good.
The Zorro is on pre-order only currently.
Yeah. See, I like the layout of that one pretty well.
I would be consider. I'm not, man. I got this X-Lite Pro.
Yeah.
With the CNC and gimbals, and they feel so great. And yeah, the thing is, as soon as I got it, basically the internal module basically was useless for me, yeah, because it's not compatible with D8. Whoops.
Yeah.
So I'm just switching module all the time, and I have this CNC module right here for the ELRS, and it's freaking wearing down the little tabs here on the module. So I'm thinking at some point it's probably gonna break. So I'm looking into making an adapter board to put inside your X-Lite and just adapt ELRS internal module in it, because it's running Edge TX as well. And it's something I just got implemented in the Nightly just a week ago. Is internal multi-protocol module. You can change the protocol of the internal module. So if you want to to change it to a crossfire shot, for instance, you can actually do that, and retaining the module bay functionality, because before, all the mods that I saw for putting, like, whether it's crossfire or basically adapting, rigging a module inside the radio, you will use the module port.
Yeah.
So you would lose your external module bay. So I'd like to retain that. So I'll be looking into that. I think that the X-Lite is an amazing controller. Right? I really love the ergonomics, the quality of the build quality of it. But I hate that it's FreeSky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean, I was happy with the Tango 2 when I got it. I was actually surprised.
Yeah.
It was very well made. And I just got the regular. I didn't get the pro version or anything like that. I just wanted a cheap way to get into Crossfire, and I liked that I didn't have to deal with a module bay to do it.
Yep.
Now the Tango seems a little small. I've got huge hands, so the Tango seems a little small for my hands. So recently I have two Nirvanas, but I didn't want to hack apart my original Nirvana because it's one of the pre-release versions. Because I was one of the testers for the Nirvana. So I don't want to hack that one up. So I bought a used one for $100.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put now I don't like how the mount is on the back. Like, the mounting is almost the same height as the standoff, or sorry, the little finger grip, right? So when you put the module on it, the whole radio balances on the module. So they've got a couple low profile mods for it that I'm gonna figure out which one I need to do, or figure out which one I'm gonna do, and then just do it.
Yeah. Now, Yves, I got one question that you brought up. You said a week ago you put on one of the nightly builds of Edge TX, correct?
Yeah, I haven't put it on yet, but I know that it exists, and it's available when I'm making this adapter board.
Okay, so you haven't tried the Edge TX protocols yet, have you?
Oh, I mean, I'm on the release one.
Okay.
I'm on the 2.5 release. Yeah, it's.
Do you like it, and have you found any benefits to it as opposed to in mostly, I'd say, like, performance ways, more or less?
Yeah. I don't think I fly. I'm proficient enough at flying to really feel a huge difference, but I think that the higher body rate is an interesting benefit for Express LRS.
Okay.
I think that my Lua scripts they run a bit faster.
Nice. Yeah, because I was thinking about jumping into that, but I tested the Red Pine protocol for a little while, and I saw a noticeable difference in things like latency and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if Edge, because I've heard the hype of it, and I've heard some people are confused with it, and some people are loving it. I'm wondering if the performance will be as noticeable as it was with Red Pine. Is pretty much where I'm getting
at. Yeah. I'm not sure both are exactly connected. Yeah, Red Pine is it's a transmission protocol. I think Edge is more like an internal communication thing. But yeah, Red Pine was sick, man. I was so excited to start IGO with Red Pine, but then I found out that the range is even worse. Yeah, so.
And that was weird for me because I got really good range when I first tried Red Pine. And then the next couple of things that I flashed to it, I was like, why are they not going too far? And yeah, that was a disappointment as well. But yeah, I'm just always worried about swapping over a controller OS, you know?
Yep. It's a pretty big deal, yeah, when you think about what relies on it. Especially, yeah, if you just fly your little whoop around your yard, it's okay. You can get away with a failsafe.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you start like flying larger crafts and in more like sensitive places.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one is released, so I would hope that most of the bugs are ironed out.
Nice. Now, we had one of our pilots that was testing Express LRS when they first came out. Frank, you remember Matt Frank was doing that with the Nemesis?
Yep.
And he put Express LRS in the little ceramic, the one with the little ceramic
antenna.
Yeah, that one.
The built-in antenna. Yeah.
Yeah, and he put that on, and the flight he did at one point, like he was like, I had to come back because battery was dead. Like I didn't fail safe once, and he just kept going across this field until he was like, I won't make it home if I don't turn around. So it's I'm definitely excited about Express LRS, but as I said, I'm nervous about making a dedicated controller because I can't use Crossfire with that one because it's not a module. It's not one that you like mount into the screw ports. It's the one that you actually I have to plug in and all that. It was, I don't know, it's the first one that they came out with. It's the Happy Model one. And it literally doesn't even, it just mounts onto the back. Like,
hold on, let me make it together, Dan.
So, yeah.
Hold on, show that again. Okay.
It's just the case, and it doesn't have the where the pins go in at the bottom, like the Crossfire would.
Yeah.
What it has is just bolting brackets on the back.
Yeah, I had this before actually. I sold it, and I 3D printed an adapter. It's an adapter for the nano module bay that you can print.
Oh,
All you need is just print the adapter, and you need some of those the header pin.
Yeah.
And you can just use it on any module bay.
Yeah, I was tempted to do that because I saw a couple of those 3D printable parts for it. I don't know. I might, like, I'm kind of at that point where the Jumper T-Lite is cheap enough that I could just get another one and make one an Express LRS and one Crossfire at this point.
Yeah, just get a T Pro.
Maybe.
$99. I mean, it's only $20 more. Shit.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah. But all right. Well, hey guys, I wanna have you guys check out. Matt's posted his site a few times. Check out Yves' store at fractalengineering.store.fractalengineering.com. Right? Close? Is that close? .net. Ooh, .net. Damn.
All right.
I tried, but
com was taken.
Yeah, I just recently posted it, guys. So it should be, just a little bit up in the
it's like 6 or 7
section.
comments down. But check out Gank's shops. As we all know Gank's shops, but he posted his merch store up there. News on our merch store, guys, by the end of this week. I'm hoping to get it live. I was having a lot of troubles with the old merch store, Yves, and so I got mad at the company and shut it down. So I'm just I'm rebuilding a new one with I think it's Teespring that we're using. But it took almost a month to cash out, and they didn't attribute a bunch of orders to our account for some reason. And I was like, but I know these people ordered this. Like, so it was just a fiasco, and I was bummed about it. But so hit up the Fractal Engineering store, guys. Check out the 65, the Fractal 65, and check out the Wingman, guys, because that's the one I'm going to be super interested in and probably going to buy. Because I really like the concept of the Dave C and the 1S 18650 3-inch style, but I really wish I had a better experience with my 3D printed version, because it was, for me, it was really hard to tune and to fly because of that tuning. So I want to try a carbon fiber version, pretty much, is what I'm saying. And I think the foldable idea makes it very portable and very usable for what I do, at least.
Yeah. Oh, you'll find it flies really really tight. It's really really locked in, and it
Awesome.
can even carry a peanut. I didn't expect that, but it can carry a peanut and still fly for 8 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I
I have
have
I
yeah,
use the 360 Go. So
yep, that's the same, yeah. Can I actually posted the footage on on my Facebook page. If you
nice.
want to have a look,
Yeah.
it's really really neat. And otherwise, yeah, it flies 15 minutes on a VTC 5A, so that's the 2600 mAh,
Yeah.
35 amps, and I flew like 18 minutes on a VTC 6. It's
Nice.
just insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. The
When
best
you
I
think about it, just coming from a single 18650, that's mind-boggling for me.
Oh, I know, and that was what got me, because like even with a well-tuned whoop or even a well-tuned 3-inch, you're only ever gonna get at max 5 minutes, you know?
Mm,
And that's fine. But when I first dove into the lithium ion side of things, I tested Zoe FPV's 2S, the 2S lithium ion that
yep.
she made, and I got one of the very last ones that she made of those before she left Outcast, and I put it on the Nemesis when I was testing the Nemesis, and it literally got 17 minutes the very first flight, to the point where I was sitting in the goggles at like minute 14 just going, okay, I'm sore and I don't know how much longer I can
Yeah,
sit here and do this. Like
I
and
know.
then it started getting low battery, and I'm like, I'm just gonna bring it in and call it at 17, because that was fun.
And then he went back to buy another one like 3 days later, and the shop was shut down, and like he couldn't do shit. He's like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, and then I messaged Zoe, and she was like, yeah, yours was one of the last ones I sent out. I was like, damn it. Oh. But yeah, I tried the Dave C because of that, and even with the bad tuning on mine or the bad oscillations, I still comfortably got like 11 or 12 minutes.
Mm,
So, and granted, I wasn't flying hard. I wasn't doing any acro or anything. I was just cruising down my street and then cruising back up it, cruising down my street. And like, it's great. I want to be able to go further, though. I want to be able to have confidence in it that it's not going to spike out on me or something.
yep.
And that's where the carbon fiber frame would definitely come in handy, because even if it did and fell, that would be a little bit more durable than that 3D print crap, you know?
Yeah. There is something
But
funny I found in my testing as well, is that if you crash with the foldable arms, well, the arms fold up, and that's all what happens. You
yeah,
Pull
pick
it back
it up,
on,
and
lock them again, and go.
yeah,
yeah, and that's what I found out with, like, I used to have a bunch of those old like selfie cams, like to fold the arms in, put them in your pocket, and then just hit GPS and it'll go, and you use your phone. I had a bunch of those, and every time I'd crash one of those, the arms would just fold back, and the props would be fine. And you're like, sweet, I never have
yeah,
to change the prop.
yep.
All right, so I'm gonna start calling it a night tonight. Yves, man, thank you very much for the short notice appearance. That's wicked. We definitely appreciated talking to you, and we'd like to have you back on at some point, especially once you get the Wingman out there and people have bought it a few times, because us and our team are probably going to end up buying a few of them and getting a few videos out there for you anyways. But we'd love to hear what everybody thinks of them and how you feel that they're being released, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'm really excited. That's gonna be my largest launch yet, because that's all 3D, all carbon fiber, all cut basically. It's all my own design, whereas the F65 was still the duct are
yeah,
made from they are off the shelf components. So
yeah,
that's a quite a larger scale project, and yeah.
and it's nice to have something that you designed yourself flying, and that's something that Matt and I can both attest to.
Mm, yeah.
So we'll definitely be in touch when that's out. And Matt, am I correct in saying next week we might have Mr. David Andrews, Mr. Skadoosh himself?
So, David Andrews actually, I messaged him earlier today, asked him if he'd be available next week. He said he should be, so I will be talking to him probably Wednesday or Thursday just to verify nothing's come up. But yeah, he's back in the United States, and it's going to be great to talk to him. He can
Yeah,
and
I love that.
talk about a
Sorry,
little bit of stuff going on in China and whatnot. And hopefully, he can get his wife over here soon.
I love how I spent 3 years living in Florida and him claiming he was coming back. And then the day I moved, he was like, I'm coming back to Florida. I was like, great. But yeah, so next week we're hoping to have Skadoosh on again. And we've got a couple of Tiny Whoop pilots, like Philip Love, and I want to get the Infinity Loops guys on here at some point too, because I've talked to most of them so far, and they're always great, always awesome guys.
Yep.
So
second Sunday in the new year, guys, is going to be our 100th episode.
Ooh, which means giveaway for sure.
That means we've been doing this for a year and a half now. No, almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years, man.
Holy shit! Every week
we had our 1 year anniversary of the NERC episode today or yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
So that says anything. But yeah, so Yves, man, thank you very much for joining us from Taiwan, dude. Like it's morning for you. We're about to pass out.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And yeah, sorry, I'm reading something else. Let's definitely figure out a time where we're all available and can, I'd say in a few weeks at some point, maybe right at the beginning of the new year, early February, late January area. Let's get you back on and see if we can talk about these new frames and get some more sold for you.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to, and I think that by then I'm also aiming to release the F75 as well very shortly after. Yeah.
Always, yes.
Right now they are out for testing with my team pilots and some others. So yeah, I'm still looking to iron a few things before this comes out, but that's gonna be a lot of fun as well.
Oh yeah, anything Whoop related, I'm usually in for. As I said, Jeff Grabowski and all those guys at Tiny Whoop and We Lead, they've been good friends of mine for a couple of years now, and I don't race. I'm not good at it. I crash far too much. I don't race at all, but I support all the racing events, and I'm always watching them.
I know.
So,
I could if I practiced, but I'm too lazy.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. But this was a great episode, and thank you very much again, Yves, for popping in.
Yep. Thanks for the invite. Was was a good time.
All right, guys.
Yeah, man, it definitely was. And we'll figure out some other things to chat about too, because I know Matt's got some other designs he's coming up with soon, and I know we're probably going to end up picking your brain and probably Zach's brain when we do figure out that the gank / renegade whoop.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share exchange thoughts on what you came up with.
Yeah, my biggest thing is trying to find decent ducks that I can get in bulk to be able to sell with them.
Oh man, that's. Have you seen the lift-off micro drone?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's the simulator lift-off. They just released the new game, which is specifically aimed for microdrones like whoops and so on. And
I haven't played it. I haven't played it yet, but I saw it was released a little bit ago.
Yeah, awesome, and it's really cool. And basically, talking with Kevin, I managed to get the F-65 featured in it.
Nice.
And I sent them the let's say the final version, the final form of the F-65, which will actually look like this, is as in the labels.
Oh, nice.
And it has this custom ducts that I've been wanting to implement for some. Actually, I do have some 3D printed ones here. And the next step here for next year is gonna be getting a proper workshop and CNC machine and plastic injection capabilities, so that I can make plastic injected shots of this guy. This is supposed to be this was the original design I had in mind for the X65 before I moved on to using off the shelf component. So this is just a SLS 3D printed prototype, and the idea was to have like more flowing forms into the ducts to reduce the stress concentration. I also have these little crowns here that help with protecting the motors, because one thing that I was never 100% happy with these guys is that
the prop sticks just above the duct, or right even with the top.
Yeah. It's even so. With this, I wanted to have just a little bit more protection for the motor axles.
Yeah.
And also, this gives a bit of more like grip when you're trying to do the turtle mode. And these are SLS printed. They are good for the show, but they are a bit too heavy and brittle still. They don't have anything on the injected versions. But yeah, I'd really like to have this injection molded at some point. This will be the final iteration of the 65 at some point.
Yeah, I don't know about there, but I know here, and getting molds made is quite expensive.
Oh yeah.
You definitely need to buy enough.
You literally have to sell thousands of them to make any money off of it. It really does kind of suck.
Yeah, you need to make like tens of thousands before you can rentabilize it, which is not quite where we at currently. But I'm looking at more like small scale molds and injection machine for a small workshop that I can just make my own molds and just shoot the parts at home, basically.
Yeah, that might be a
And you could even make them out of old used prop plastic. Chop up prop plastic, melt it down.
That's true.
Athix says Mr. Steele lost lots on a bad mold.
So
that's
one thing as well.
But then you got people like Stan FPV that's making. I'm sure he's making his money back on those 5 and 6 inch molds that he did.
Yeah,
but
again, there's not market. There's no market in the drone world for that many. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's unless you have a very common size duct.
Yeah.
Right? But like I think a 65 and a 75 ducks for a 65 and a 75 would do great because people like me who are looking for just ducks, so I could build a freaking carbon whoop.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think what would make more sense for this project, if I were to do something, is to make actually a whole nylon, a whole frame basically, where you can snip these ducts off, so that you have the option to have the nylon frame, and you can snip these ducts off out of it.
Yeah. Zach Carazales in the house just as we're about to head out, but
yeah, I had to post that up there.
Zach is he's one of the designers for Newbie Drone. He does like the AZI props. And,
awesome. Really cool.
Yeah. So,
he also did the new cinema that is on the Newbie Drone site.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's been on our show a few times as well. Well, Yves, I will say thank you again, and this was great. Thank you very much for coming on. Had a blast.
Yep. Was nice hanging out, guys. Thanks for the invite, and yeah, I'll see you around.
We'll see you in the new year, and definitely I want to see a fully built version of that wingman, because that's intriguing as hell to me, and I'm very much
I like that. That looks cool as hell.
Yeah. I have some pictures. I think if you go to my Facebook page,
nice.
You'll find some pictures. This one I already.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
What's left of it. It's fully assembled.
Yeah, I got one of those from the last Nemesis I crashed too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. This is Matt. This is the V2 Nemesis, by the way.
Oops.
Yeah,
the nervous system.
But yeah, guys, this is a great show. Thank you for coming on, guys. Check out Yves' shop and check out Gank Multi-Rotors. Also, hit up We Bleed FPV as they're good friends of ours, and definitely check out next week when we hopefully have Skadoosh back on with us. And keep an eye out on the Facebook page for updates on the new Teespring store for Optimized Drone. I think that's pretty much it. I did a Tiny Whoop shout out, We Bleed shout outs. I think that's it.
Awesome. Newbie Drone as well. You can find my boards and frame. My boards at Newbie Drone as well.
Newbie Drone's always a good friend of ours as well. We Dalton Schultz is a good friend of our show.
Yeah.
Well, Dalton lives around the corner from me. He's like 30 minutes away. So, but yeah, I helped him promote the Little Deuce when he designed that. He's done a couple of frames.
Yep.
But like most people, has to, work to make real money.
And there is also a drone FPV racer if you're in Europe. They are the only ones stocking both my boards and the Fractal 65. So
they're
you can get
they're also one of the only EU drone shops that's around, isn't it? Like one of the main ones.
At least that's that big, I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, anywhere in Europe you can get fast and cost-effective shipping.
Awesome.
I just checked my store orders because I usually do on Sunday nights because I got to ship Monday. I got a dude who ordered 4 Nemesis Micro HDs.
I told you it wasn't me.
Holy crap. No, it was Brett Wilson. I was hanging out with him last week. He came
nice.
Visiting family. And I was flying my Nemesis Micro around while he was ripping with his 5-inch out at the flying field near us. So
nice.
They got 4 though. I was like, wow, holy shit.
Well, he probably assumes he's gonna break a few.
I don't know, man. I told him that there's only one person that's broke one, and that was Tim, and he's freaking ridiculous, like around his really hard objects. So,
all right, guys. Well, have a good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Hit up next week. Guys. We'll be on same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep.
All right. Cheers.
Take it easy, guys.
Thank you very much.